The weather is so beautiful here. Today we're like in the low 60s. We're gonna have overcast skies all week, but our lows are in the high 40s to like 50. So even though it's cloudy mostly, and a little like drizzle off and on today, we did have rain this morning. This is a perfect time for me to transplant some of our seed babies from the greenhouse outside. And so we've been prepping beds for the last couple of weeks, getting everything ready. And one of the things that I didn't start seeds on were the sun sugars, because as you know, we just pulled them out a couple weeks ago. They lasted an entire year and they were so prolific. So I had to go to town today and run a couple errands, and I found myself at our local nursery. And guess what they had? Yes, they had sun sugars. I'm so excited about that. I had no idea that they carried them. I was looking online. I shared the True Leaf that sells the seed, and then there's an Etsy person that sells sun sugar tomato seeds. That's it. I had no idea that our local nursery carried them, and I was so excited that I grabbed 4. The same number that we had last year, because it was plentiful. Last year we started 100 tomato plants from seed, and all of them germinated. We transplanted all of them out, and we were swimming in tomatoes like all the way up until December. Even January, we ripped out, I think it was January or the end of December, that we ripped out the Super 6, the pasting tomato. So this year I'm switching it up a little bit. I'm doing a little bit less. I'm targeting for about 65 tomato plants. We'll see how that goes. Right now we have 7 different varieties that I'm growing, but the sun sugars, I was so excited to see them at the nursery today that I'm going to go ahead and transplant them. Again, the weather is so good. It's like a nice, beautiful, gentle hug to welcome transplants into the earth. It's not super hot. It's not super dry. It is very mild out, and it just helps them transition so they get a little bit less shocky. So I'm going to be moving, I'm going to be planting the 4 sun sugars. And then I'm also picked up, I have watermelon and watermelon and cantaloupe seed babies in here. But they haven't even germinated yet. They're still trying to sprout. So I picked up a 6-pack, which is actually a 10-pack of cantaloupe. There's our skitty kitty girl. Hi, garden helper. Hi, pretty girl. So I'm going to get those put into the ground as well. So I'm going to go ahead and water my seed babies and then roll out there. And I thought we could just hang out for a bit. So these are the tomatoes that I have outside. These are our aromas, and I have 15 in here. I started 18 and I ended up with 15. So pretty okay germination. The German pinks though, I started at 24 and I ended up with 11, or 12, which is 50% germination. That is not super awesome. It'll be okay because I already have, not counting the sun sugars today, I have the atomic grape, purple Cherokees over here, and then down in the lower garden I transplanted out 4 of the brandywines, which are also Dave's favorite. So I did 4 of those because they're really prolific, and I feel like that'll be fine. Again, my goal this year is to have about 65 tomato plants versus the 100 that we had last year. Last year was absolutely epic, but I have a little bit of a problem with storing everything. Like, my house is tiny and I can't leave anything outside because it will get wrecked in the weather. I don't have a root cellar. I don't have like a big pantry where I can can a ton of stuff and put it away for events and for my family. So I'm backing it down a little bit. The one food pantry that we donated to regularly, we're not able to do that now. They've had some significant life changes, and so we're going to be donating to another local food pantry, but they have a lot of people contributing, which is so wonderful. So as we have large harvests, we'll do that. But in the general of like keeping the animal fridges full, making sure we've got fresh produce for our events and for my family, I feel like 60-65 is going to be good. And so, you know, what did I say? 12 and 15. So I've got 27 right here. I mean, we're good. Like, I'm so good. I have the little cherry bumbles in there, plus all the other ones that are down in the lower garden. So I feel like it's all good. Let's go get those sun sugars in the ground. Hey, sugar. Hey, baby. Hey, Skittles. Oh, careful, baby. The last year's sun sugars that we pulled out a couple weeks ago, I've already supplemented this bed. But in planting my tomatoes, I want to make sure that they have everything they need to grow big and strong, and once they start fruiting, that I don't end up with any sort of deficiencies. So I just made up a very simple little supplement. It is gypsum, which is calcium, basically, potash, and worm castings, because everything does better with worm castings. It just helps the whole biodiversity and all the living organisms in here flourish. And so I'm just putting a little bit in the holes. Again, this is an 8-foot bed. I'm putting 4 plants in here, so I'm putting them about 24 inches apart. And I have already supplemented this bed with compost a couple weeks ago. I'm just adding a little bit of love, just to make sure that as they grow, they're going to be really strong. So I'm also going to plant them fairly deep. And one of the things that I like to do when transplanting tomatoes is pinch off the lower leaves so I can set this down so that these are huge bushes. These are gonna vine up and have runners that are 10, 12, 14 feet long. So I want to make sure that this is very, very strong as it grows. So I'm going to plant deep. I've already given it a little bit of supplement, and then I'm just going to get down in there and just pack it a little bit. Not too firm, just a little bit. And I'm actually angling mine close to the trellis because we're going to trellis these up and over. So easy peasy, just like that. Also don't want your leaves touching the soil because that's what introduces bacteria, disease, and we definitely don't want that. Again, I'm just angling mine up and over because we're going to be trellising them. I'm also pulling off the lower suckers because I don't want this plant to grow out that way. I want it to go up, and I want the foundation to be very, very strong. So I don't want any fruiting. I don't want any flowers. I don't want anything touching the ground. We want to keep it as simple as possible so that all of the nutrients go to the plant and growing up big and strong. just pinching off the lower leaves and the lower suckers, because again, I want this plant to grow strong and upward. I'm not in a big hurry for it to branch out. And then I just tilt mine towards the trellis so that it's easier for me to trellis up when it gets a bit bigger. Again, you don't want your leaves on the ground because that will introduce disease and we don't want that. Just like that. Easy peasy. And in about 50, 60 days, those sun sugars are going to be back and they're going to be so good. I can't wait. Delicious. See a little bit flower there? I'm pinching those because I don't want it to produce fruit yet either. We want it to, again, grow big and strong and just settle in. We're in for the long run. Okay, so it's been a couple days since I recorded that video that you just watched, and I was thinking that I needed a way to end the video, and the reason it's 2 days later is because it said how beautiful our weather was and like everything was so perfect for transplanting everything. Well, the weather shifted a bit and we've had really strong winds for the last day and a half. It's still pretty windy today, but it's at least you can walk outside without, you know, bending over. But it is cold. So all of those tomatoes that I brought outside, I've had to protect them, but we are warming up a bit more, which is great news. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you for hanging out with me. I enjoy our time so much together, and I hope that you do too. Hopefully you learned something about planting tomatoes to give yourself a great head start on a beautiful, bountiful season. Until we hang out again, friends, thank you so much. Have the most amazing rest of your week and a blessed day. Till next time.